wanted to kind of wait till the very end of the season to actually talk about Donbrothers, but I thought I'd give my kind of thoughts so far, since we're kind of near coming to the end, and I just really want to talk about Donbrothers because it's been doing very well, and I actually just generally really enjoyed the series. I really wanted to wait till kind of next year to talk about Donbrothers. I'm really enjoying the series. I wanted to wait till the series ends to actually give my thoughts, but I want to kind of give my thoughts now while the series is still going, and hopefully talking about what I kind of think is happening. And then at the very end, I'll literally give a massive breakdown of the entire series as I go through every single part, making notes, and it's going to be a big video. So you better like, favorite, comment, and subscribe. Better do that. Why am I talking like this? I have no idea. But I wanted to give my thoughts. Let's just jump straight into it. To me, Donbrothers has broken the mold for what the series has been. When we were first introduced to Donbrothers, it was more like, oh hey, this is going to be a Gokaiger 2.0. The Rangers are able to turn into past Rangers, but with a kind of a hidden thing. So what do I mean? Effectively, if say for example, the Rangers have a color on the team, then they can turn into it. If they don't have that color, like say Ini brother, he's not able to turn into any of the Gokaigers because effectively there is no black Gokaiger. So he would be kind of left out, but that was kind of cool. I kind of like that it wasn't just going to be a carbon copy of Gokaiger. So we're kind of given the premise, and I think for the very first couple of episodes, this was the main thing that came along. Oh, they're turning into Rear Soldier. Oh, they're turning into Torcuger. It's loads of things like that. But they dropped that motif. They dropped it completely. And I think only maybe 6-7 episodes have actually had them transform into past teams, which I think is absolutely fantastic because it makes sure that it's not the same thing. And it makes it kind of like, oh, are they gonna transform? Are they gonna do it? Oh, no, they're not. They're just carrying on as normal, and they're utilizing their main power, which is turning into the giant mecha, but in human size, which again to me is a fantastic thing that hasn't really been done before, and that to me makes it worth everything. So I generally am enjoying it. Looking at the CGI, that was one of the main things that was going to get to me. I thought that they were going to drop the CGI thing for quite some time, because when you watch most of it, it kind of works to some degree, but it's still very janky. It's still very kind of, Ini brother, when he runs around, it doesn't feel right. But the same thing is with Kinojo. They're the two kind of characters that obviously when they transform, I was like, oh, this is gonna grate on me. This is gonna make me not want to watch most of the fight scenes and stuff. But generally, most of it's been really well done. And I'm guessing that because of this, they're able to kind of replace like guys in green suits as they kind of do all the fighting and stuff. And therefore, they're able to do the CGI. I generally thought that this was going to ruin it. Has it? No, it actually gives it a breath of fresh air. And when I made a video, I think I made a video or talked about it, the CGI in Donbrothers was going to be dropped, and I thought that would happen after, say, maybe a couple of episodes so they could focus on the suits, because they do actually have the suits. Yet they haven't, and I actually generally like that. I do like seeing them in, say, like with Kinojo. He actually is able to, they actually have his suit, and you kind of see it at times. And I generally thought, okay, maybe they'll use it. They'll just get someone really tall to be in it to kind of emulate the same size. I was generally okay with just how the CGI is in place, and it brings a uniqueness that I haven't really seen. I think it will be a lot harder to use this for Power Rangers if it ever gets adapted. I don't think it will. But I generally think for what we're seeing right now, they've worked the CGI properly. So if they do it in the next season, the season after, I think they'll make time to actually make sure that these renders are really well done and they run smoothly. I've only ever seen one episode which I didn't really like with the CGI, and that was when you've got Matsumain and the Don Onitaijin fighting in a different dimension, which is what we see normally. I didn't like it. I thought that the CGI was really bad, and it wouldn't, it's not the greatest. And I feel like we're never going to see something like that ever again, which I'm absolutely okay with. I generally didn't like that CGI, but the rest of it's been fine for what it is. The music in this has been absolutely fantastic. I really like this. I really want to buy this on a proper album rather than, say, buying it on iTunes and stuff like that, because I would love to listen to all the music, because it's been actually really interesting. And I think one of my favorite tracks is the one at the very end, which is basically moves into the next preview. I generally really like it. I think it's one of the best pieces of music that I've heard in a long time when it comes to Super Sentai. And the music, that it works well with the entire series, from the point where they're going into the cafe, the kind of the chill down music, the fight scene music, the dramatic music, the one with the Care Bearers. I really do like all of it. And I feel like the music for this Sentai is actually one of my favorites of all the Sentais. Gokaiger's not too bad from what I remember, but the Donbrothers one really stands out. And this is one thing that I do wish that they release on a big CD thing, because I would buy it in a heartbeat. It's fantastic and highly recommend if you listen to it. Not sponsored or anything, it's on iTunes, Amazon and stuff like that. So go check it out. They do mini albums and you can pretty much listen to it almost anywhere. And that's what I generally like. It's a fantastic part of the series and really sells it a lot more. The storylines in this is one of the better ones that I've seen in any Sentai. Zenkaiger, to me, when I watched all the way through, it didn't really hold me. It didn't really make me go, oh, I kind of really want to watch the next episode. I think maybe, okay, you tell a lie. I think there's 1 or 2 episodes I was like, okay, I want to check out the next one. But in general, I really didn't want to kind of watch most of it. I was more like, okay, I don't have to watch this weekly. But Donbrothers storylines have really kind of brought me in. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, I've not really seen like how the bad guys work in most Super Sentais, where they're all pretty much friends, but yet they'll fight each other because they're still enemies and they still interact. Anytime that I've seen a bad guy in Super Sentai or Power Rangers, they normally just go and attack. They fight and then they kind of run away, or you have this main big bad guy that will tell them to go do stuff. Zenkaiger had it with the giant wall in Zenkaiger, not Gokaiger, I think. Yeah, Zenkaiger had it with the giant wall. Gokaiger, you had the Armada. With most of the other series, you had this main bad guy that would do it. And Donbrothers hasn't had a main bad guy in this at all. And I like it. You could probably say the Care Bearers are the ones that are the main bad guys, but they don't feel like they're bad guys. Even when you look at the chief editor, I don't know what his name, I can't remember, and Haruka, like they interact like they're friends. They interact like, well, he's her boss when it comes to drawing manga. And you kind of think that they would attack each other straight away because they know that they're mortal enemies, etc., etc. But they do bring it up in one episode where basically Haruka says, like, you wouldn't attack me. And he's like, that's completely different. You know, we're not talking about manga or anything like that. And it just sets the bar so differently when it comes to bad guys. I love it. I think it's one of the best things that you can have. And it kind of brings up a, even when you see Sonae, when she talks to Inazuma, like they interact like they're friends, or that they're kind of wanting to date each other. Well, she wants to date him, where he's off with Natsumi and stuff like that. But when you kind of see all of that play together, it feels like there is a balance. They know that they have to fight, but they don't fight all the time. And if they are the main bads of the series, I'm okay with it, because it just feels different that they generally want to be friends and it's not like a fighting thing. And I'm very kind of like, where is the big bad? But I'm kind of liking it that we don't have that. I think when you're looking at this, the main bad guy would normally come in by now and be like, hey, I'm going to take over. You're all going to follow me. And this time, we've not had that. That's refreshing. Like, obviously, with Zenkaiger, you had it. With Gokaiger, after the prince got like defeated or destroyed, then you had his father come in. Other Sentais, you've probably had the same, or you've had the main bad guy all along. And seeing like the generals go out every single time, you know, fight and come back, like that to me has been always the case. So seeing this like in Donbrothers not happening is a major big like fresh of breath air. A fresh breath of fresh air, I don't know, but it's nice to actually see this. One of the main things that I've noticed is we've not had a full team morph. We kind of had one back in, I think, episode 35 or episode 34, where you had the kind of when Inazuma gives like the Dom Blaster to the musician guy, and he becomes like the main like indie brother, and that's the only time you get like a full team morph. But we all know that we've not had the full one, and I'm hoping, and I really want this to happen at the very end of the series when they find out who he is, when they do that whole thing of we're being beaten, like we're not gonna, and we're not gonna give up, we're gonna fight, and that's when they do like the final team morph, and it's absolutely fantastic. I'm looking forward to that if it happens. If not, I'm looking forward to that at the same time. But we're now up to episode 35 at the time of writing and recording this video. When 36 comes along, it could be completely different. But for now, we've not had a full team morph. What the hell? But I like it. It just feels like that part is like, I want this. And it's the payoff. The only time that I've been, if they don't do it, I'm not going to be disappointed. But if I was, it'd be like the whole thing in Zenkaija, where every single person, when they got their Gatlinger, would fire at the bad guys, knock one person. And the one thing that made it go like, what the hell, was when Vrum didn't do it. What the actual fuck? Why didn't they do it? It just felt like a natural thing to have all of them do it. But generally, if we don't have a full team morph, or they don't all come together at the very end, I think that would be kind of cool. I kind of see maybe at the end when they're like, oh, are you Ini brother? And in Inazuma morphs and it's like, yes, I am. They're like, oh my God, finally. And it's just too late. But I'm hoping like if that does happen, I'm going to break down every single character much later on. One character I want talking about this at the moment is Kinijo. I really don't like him. When I first saw him and he was kind of like, oh, this guy is a normal guy, you know, a guy like me and you, and, you know, or a person like me and you, and stuff like that. And the fact is that he was going out, he was working, he had a wife, he had to support. I generally like this whole thing. But over the series, we found out that he's turned into the monsters twice. It feels like a third time. He's effectively, if anyone goes after Miho, he goes absolutely sick after them. Like to the point where he would straight up kill a guy. He did kill a guy. Effectively, like let the bad guys kind of take him over. You know, kind of kill the guy. You know, he went after Inazuma. He was able to turn around and go like, yeah, I want to talk to you. And now I'm calling the police and now you're arrested, to the point where he was just pure evil. And this has been his character all the way through that I've seen. Like, again, it makes you kind of think that smile he does really freaks me out a bit, because that's not just like a haha, that's more of a I've taken you out of the equation, you're no longer in the picture, fuck you, don't ever come near me or my wife ever again. And when you see that character development all the way through, holy shit, it's fucking mental. Like, dear God, but he's a character that I don't particularly really like, but he will go after you if you hurt Miho. And again, as I said in previous reviews, if, like, say for example, Miho stubbed her toe on a sofa, a piece of furniture or something, he would attack that thing, get rid of it, and buy a new one, and he would not give no shits. He is definitely one to kind of look after, one to look out for, and especially since he went after Inazuma. Like, I would have liked that if he was in the kind of series and they knew how to kind of do that kind of like dynamic. We did kind of see it very briefly when we had the musician guy come along, but it wasn't major, and I kind of wanted them to explore that a little bit more with his character. But dear God, he's a menace. Fucking hell, that's all I can say about him. I think when looking back at something like Zenkaija and the way it is, I feel that they knew what they were kind of doing, but it was more like, again, like the pandemic did kind of halt a load of different things and made it a lot harder. But as we kind of progressed and did other things, it just made things look a bit to me. And Zenkaija didn't really kind of change. It didn't really hold my attention, and it was boring at most times. But when seeing Donbrothers, I really have enjoyed all the storylines that they've done. I've wanted to watch it every single week, and I've never been kind of deterred. When I wasn't really kind of covering it with Zenkaija, like doing weekly reviews, I could literally skip to the end and go like, cool, all right, this is what's happened. With Donbrothers, I want to see the progression where I'm waiting till I can watch it with subtitles, or I'll download it and watch it without, because I want to see how the story progresses. And it's very hard to kind of gauge what it is. With Zenkaija, you could guess what happened, you could talk about it in reviews and stuff, but with Donbrothers, I find it really hard because it's completely different, and I generally really like that. When I came into the series, I wasn't having high hopes. When I saw Don Momotaro appear in Zenkaija, I was like, oh, this is going to be annoying, he's going to annoy me with his laugh. Now I really like the laugh. I think it's a fantastic series, and it's one of the better parts, because when you think of Don Momotaro and the festival, you know, and especially with it being enjoyable, you want to laugh, you want to dance, you want to do this. And then just seeing all of it work, even when he would come in on like his bike where people would be like holding him, like doing that type of thing, love it. Think it's a fantastic series for what it is, and I'm really enjoying it. I think I'm going to leave it there with everything that's going on with Donbrothers. I am going to be doing a full series breakdown and talking about it, and I can't wait for it. I don't want this series to end, and I wish it got a season 2. With the amount of money that it's making, with the amount that the series is and how the story is progressing, I could watch this again for another season and not get bored and really enjoy watching it. I hope that they would do this, but I know that they're not. But, I'm hoping that maybe if the other series doesn't do very well, maybe they do make a second season and have Donbrothers come back and do the full series. I don't know. I think it'd be kind of cool. It'd be kind of interesting if they brought one of the other characters in it, like they did with Kaito, and it like Haruka, or you had Don Momotaro just helping out, not transforming that much and joining in at times. I think that would be really cool. I would really enjoy that. But I don't know if they would. If they did, awesome. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there. What are your thoughts on Donbrothers? Let me know down below in the comments, and I'll see you.
チャンネルをサポートしてくれてありがとうございます。チャンネル登録、高評価お願いします。以下のリンクから商品を入手することができます。